The news is live from our studios at Kokomimle Joy 99.7 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we are live on Love 99.5 FM and affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Bewa Radio, Wale Wale, Radio Freed, Nandom, and Radio Fumbisi, Fumbisi. Download the My Joy Online app from the Play Store and App Store to listen live around the world. And coming up, with less than 24 hours for Burkinabe authorities to spill excess water from the Bagri Dam, we'll hear from farmers in the northern Ghana who accuse NADMO of failing to help them evacuate.
The NADMO officials always show up late when the harm has already been caused, and we only see few announcements on TV, but we expect them to be physically present here.
Meanwhile, NADMO says it is encountering challenges convincing some farmers to move to higher grounds because they fear they will lose their livelihoods.
If there's nothing serious to do for the day, please, people should always stay in the highland.
Those who are doing the farming along the riverbank, they have already cultivated some of the maize and other crops.
We'll hear from them. Ghana Institute of Architects accuses government of breaching procurement law in award of Agenda 111 design contract to renowned architect, said David Ajayi.
When you read the PPA Act on sole sourcing, the terms there do not apply or make these things even worse. Once it is taxpayers' money, it should be floated fairly for people to set out the idea.
We have details, plus hear from a deputy finance minister who had indicated the right legal procedures were followed. Also, have you heard of the Joker virus, which can empty your bank account?
When you install those applications on your phone, specifically Android phones, it will use that medium to perform certain transactions on your behalf.
On Thursday, we'll hear from a global cybersecurity expert on how to protect yourself from being attacked by this virus in sports.
And that will be in 20 minutes as Accra Hearts of Oak prepare to participate in the CAF Champions League preliminary stage. A former coach who's won the Ghana Premier League wants the fans to measure their expectations.
More from Nathaniel Atto. And in showbiz, we'll tell you about the very first interactive play where actors get to mix with the audience.
It is going to be done out of the office, specifically in an open-air theater form at the Labadi Beach Hotel.
More on Something Must Kill a Man. Thank you for choosing us. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. I'm Arba Kumsin. Now, with less than 24 hours for Burkinabe authorities to spill excess water from the Bagri Dam, farmers and residents living along the waterways of the White Volta River are rushing to salvage their farm produce as part of preparations to evacuate to safety ahead of the spillage of the dam. The annual opening of the dam, which often coincides with heavy rains, always leaves a devastating trail of destruction in about 185 communities within the SADA zone, with an estimated population of 200,000 constantly at risk. We'll get an update on how the farmers are preparing for the floods. We'll start from the northeast region, where Elias Sutanko reports some farmers in the West Mamprusi and Mamprugu Mwaduri districts say there is no assistance from the National Disaster Management Organization to help them evacuate.
Around 13 people were killed in the region last year and over 2,000 forced to leave their homes due to floods caused by torrential rains and the opening of the dam. This year, operators of the dam on Tuesday issued an alert announcing the dam will be spilled between August 27 and 30. But even before the spillage could start, hundreds of farmlands in communities in the West Mamprusi and Mamprugu Mwaduri district, which are usually the hardest hit, are already submerged in floodwaters caused by weeks of torrential rains in the region. The situation has left some farmers and residents in panic. At Kunkwa and Pasinkwe, these desperate farmers, as part of preparations to move to higher grounds, were risking their lives using old canoes to salvage their drowning produce. We use canoe to salvage these crops. We are risking our lives because we have to feed our family. We stand in the water at neck level to harvest what we could. We have lost much already. We are doing all this just to get something to eat. We are fighting to get something in our stomach. This is how we risk our lives every year. That is why you always hear people are drowned. Every year, people die in this community as a result of the spillage. The farmers here, while bracing themselves for the looming catastrophe, are criticizing the National Disaster Management Organization for their poor handling of previous flooding situations. The NADMO officials always show up late when the harm has already been caused. Last year, for instance, we had evacuated all by ourselves before they came. We always expect NADMO officials to give us enough information ahead on how to escape the vagaries of the spillage. But they always wait and show up only after we are devastated by the incident. And we only see few announcements on TV, but we expect them to be physically present here. Ilyasu Tanko reporting.
Upper East Regional Correspondent Albert Sore also filed this update a while ago.
Yesterday, I was at the Passenger area where 4 people died last year. And the residents told me that they have not seen any NADMO officials around to give them public sensitization. They only realized the swelling of the river in the area, and now they are using desperate measures to salvage their drowning crops, including using old canoes on this high current water just to harvest their maize. And so that is what is currently happening. Some of them told me that they had some information on television, but NADMO officials have not come to the area to educate them and to help them to evacuate to higher ground.
From the northern region, Martina Bugri reports that some farmers have on their own rented temporal structures away from the likely affected areas.
Now, for instance, others have rented rooms waiting for the water. If it arrives and it comes into their homes, they would move. For Stringer, the issue has always been their farmland. Their homes are far away from the river, and so it's the farmlands that get flooded. It looks like they may not have anything to harvest this year. I'm told that we have 5 communities in the Singer electoral area, and only 2 had people plant maize, and so they are able to take out something now. But the rest are rice farms, and these farms are yet to begin tasking. So it means that they would have nothing to harvest at the time the water passes.
Well, Northern Regional Operations Director Abu Adam says compliance generally is high, but some, for fear of losing their farms, have refused to move.
So even before the Burkina Faso people announced that they are going to spill their dam, we have already gone ahead, far ahead with sensitization. Because this issue is a perennial one, we know. And we have our district directors in those districts. They are on the ground. We have repeated it even the second time. Now we are even doing something like a monitoring to ensure that the people move up land and leave the banks of the river. And most of the people have complied. They have already moved up.
But are there some who are still, adamant?
Yeah, those who are adamant, definitely you will not get everybody to be 100%. But we have also adopted another strategy. The adamant ones, they have traditional authorities there. So we are in touch with the traditional authorities to assist us to talk to them again to move.
But why are they not moving?
They feel, particularly those who are doing the farming along the riverbank, they have already cultivated some of the maize and other crops. So, but we have asked them to do early harvesting. They should start harvesting. Some started about 3 days ago, last week. The zonal coordinators, the disaster volunteers, they are all on the ground.
Well, Upper East Regional Director of NADMO, Jerry Asemane, has this warning for settlers and farmers.
settlers along the White Volta, the confluence that is around the Galaka, Sapelga community, that if there's nothing serious to do for the day, please, people should always stay in the highlands, that is in their areas of operations, like their houses. The farmers should be advised not to cross the rivers, because this is the time the spillage comes, and it only takes 72 hours to get to the Ghana territories. We cannot boast of having enough to mitigate, because finally we might not know the quantity of people, that is in terms of numbers, that will be affected. But I think that it is enough to accommodate whatever disaster that might come. Remember, we equally have reinforcement, and the reinforcement can come from Accra.
So that's Upper East Regional Director of NADMO, Jerry Asamane there. Now, you will recall, government in 2019 cut short for work to start on the almost $1 billion Pualugu multi-purpose dam, expected to permanently address the impact of the spillage. But 2 years on, the project has yet to start. This is President Akufo-Addo at the sword-cutting event.
The government was putting in place plans to avert the perennial flooding caused by the spillage of the Bakri Dam, which has resulted in the constant loss of lives and destruction of properties in the northern sector over the years. The total cost of the project, amounting to some 993 million United States dollars, nearly $1 billion, will be borne entirely by government. The Chinese firm Sino-Hydro will build the project under an engineering, procurement, and construction contract, which will be executed in 15 months.
So that was President Akufo-Addo speaking at the sword-cutting ceremony in November 2019. David Pra is a senior public relations officer at the Volta River Authority. He explains the delay.
It will take years, nearly 2 years, for us to finish with all these activities, and 2-3 years we go ahead with the construction. Fortunately, we have gotten the lead from government that by November, bricks and mortar will take place at the dam site. The president was talking about all the processes that we need to go through before the actual dam construction takes place. Because Volta River Authority, VRA, officials are on the ground. The surveyors that are demarcating the rear area for the irrigation, we finished. We finished with all the processes on the 14th of September. We are meeting all the people in the Upper East at Zebila.
So that's David Pra. He's a senior public relations officer at the Volta River Authority. Let's bring in the Member of Parliament for Binduri in the Upper East region, Abanga Abdullahi. Many thanks for your time. We don't have Abanga Abdullahi. When we do get him, we will speak to him on these issues relating to the Pualugu Dam construction. Now, in Tempane in the Upper East region, crocodiles are straying into homes from floodwaters that have engulfed several communities. Torrential rains have caused floods in that area for the past 3 weeks, causing the Tamnet Dam at the nearby Garu constituency to overflow into homes. The reptiles are believed to have moved from the dam following the displacement of their natural habitat. We can listen to the MP for Tempane, Lydia Lamisi Akamvariba, who has been briefing journalists after touring the area.
That the water is affecting the crops of the people of the community, and that is why they are crying for help. It's affecting their houses. It's affecting their economic activities. Dam has affected that road, and it's making it difficult for people to move from here to that part of the constituency. Another issue about it is that because of the rising level of the water, it's affecting the wildlife that is in the dam site, and most of the houses have been infested with crocodiles, snakes, and all manner of reptiles that are in the water. We have an instance where a crocodile enters somebody's house and ate animals. If it's a human being, what do we do? So we are just appealing to the government and the engineers of this project to look at it again. They have resettled other people, but there are some few people that still need resettlement. If they could come and then resettle those that are also affected.
That's Lydia Lamisi Akamvareba. She is MP for Tempani. Now, the Ghana Institute of Architects says government did not follow laid down procedures in the award of a design contract to architect, said David Ajay, for the construction of the 111 health facilities across the country. The renowned architect drew up the designs for the health facilities. He's also the brain behind the design for the National Cathedral. Deputy Finance Minister John Kuma had earlier told Joy News the right legal procedure was used in the selection, despite being unable to tell what specific procurement method was utilized.
I cannot tell you on this table which of the procedure was adopted.
But as a ministry, I'm sure you'll be interested because
Ministry
you'll be
of
paying
Finance,
and also this is a project you're very much interested in.
we are interested in the financing, but it doesn't mean that everything under it is under us. We have the technical side, which is also being handled by Ministry of Health. But I can assure you all the necessary legal procedures were followed. But I cannot tell you on this table which of the procedure was adopted.
So that's a Deputy Finance Minister John Kuma there. Honorary Secretary of the Ghana Institute of Architects, Augustus Richardson, says there was no open call for bids from other members of the institute.
The Act 663 encourages transparency, it encourages inclusion, it encourages fairness. And you have architects who are trained in this very country by institutions that were set up some years ago during our independence or the period of our independence. And now, what do we find? We find out that, projects are, you sort of handpick a person under the pretext of sole sourcing. And yet, when you read the PPA Act on sole sourcing, the terms there do not apply or make these things even worthwhile. So at the end of the day, the question is, what are we doing as a people? I mean, international best practice doesn't do this. And indeed, globally, nobody does this. So the question then is, why are we doing this? It is wrong. We decry this as an institute, and I, as Honorary Secretary, in my time, speak on behalf of the Council and indeed the people who practice architecture in this country.
And so the concern here is that this is work that you believe there are equally Ghanaian trained architects who can do, and so the process should have been a fair process. Is that the case, that there was no such process that the architects are aware of?
No, there was no such process. The process of selecting is put in the papers so that everybody can participate. The point is not even just about Ghanaian architects. And let's not do that. We are in a global world today, and everything is about competition. Ghanaians compete abroad. There are, people from abroad who also compete here.
Augustus Richardson is Honorary Secretary of the Ghana Institute of Architects. And staying on Agenda 111, that's the focus of the Joy News interactive social media show, State of Play. It's happening Thursday, today, at 2:30 p.m. on Facebook Live. Meet Super Morning Show host Winston Amo and head of our research desk, Raymond Aqua, on State of Play. It's also available on all our social media platforms, including YouTube and Twitter. Don't miss it. Now, Chairman of the Board of Trustees for the National Cathedral Project, Professor Opoku Onyina, says Ghanaians must embrace religious diversity in the nation's quest for development. He made this comment when he received a 50,000 cedi donation from the Chief Imam for the construction of the cathedral. The Chief Imam, Sheikh Nuhu Shaributu, is hopeful the donation will facilitate the speedy construction of the national edifice, which is also expected to serve as a tourist site to earn revenue for the country.
I'm excited, more excited. I'm happier. I'm lost for words to explain how I feel about this meeting. When we want to commission our mosque, we commissioned it together, Muslims and Christians. Amen. So one day, as who come, we reciprocate. In this regard, I also will do some symbolic, contribution. In my view, this will further strengthen the solidarity and goodwill between Muslims and Christians. 50,000 Ghana cedis.
Chief Imam Sheikh Nuhu Shaributu speaking there when the Board of Trustees for the National Cathedral Project called on him at his residence earlier today. Hannah Odame was there. She joins us on the line. Hannah, the Board of Trustees must have been pleased with this gesture.
Exactly, but they were so excited. And the chair of the board, whom you just mentioned, Apostle Opoku Onyina, asked other people of different faiths to also emulate this gesture, which he described as very rare. He also announced that there will be a formal fundraising strategy for the construction of the cathedral. This is different from what he says the finance minister announced the short code. He said on the 5th of September, there will be a formal announcement and a fundraising strategy to enable them continue getting more donations for the cathedral. Let's listen to him.
We are praying that his legacy will continue, that all religious leaders will be able to demonstrate the love of God to humanity. This is not a small thing at all. It's a big something that is very, very big. And I think many people, including Christians and Muslims, are going to follow what he has done. So that we will not use our diversity to fight one another, but exhibit love to one another and bring us together as the people of God and as Ghanaians. And as our father said, for the rest of the world to know what Ghanaians are doing. But instead of using religion to fight, we are using religion to unify. On behalf of the trustees of the National Cathedral, I would like to say thank you to the Chief Imam and all his entourage.
Chairman of the Board of Trustees for the National Cathedral Project, Professor Opoku Onyina there. You're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. We're taking a short breather. Still to come, have you heard of the Joker virus, which can empty your bank account?
When you install those applications on your phone, specifically Android phones, it will use that medium to perform certain transactions on your behalf.
On Tech Thursday, we'll hear from a global cybersecurity expert on how to protect yourself from being attacked by this virus. And in Showbiz, we'll tell you about the very first interactive play where the actors get to mix with the audience.
It is going to be done out of the office, specifically in an open-air theater form at the Labadi Beach Hotel.
More on Something Must Kill a Man after this.
The boys are back, oh! The boys are back! Imagine inviting great footballers like Ronaldo, Messi, and Mbappe into your home. Imagine feeling the big man temperament of football's fiercest rivals in your living room. Imagine enjoying the home ground advantage of witnessing the best of Serie A, La Liga, Premier League, UEFA Europa, and many more leagues all in English. Or stop imagining. Just get a GoTV decoder now at 89 Ghana cedis and upgrade to GoTV Max to turn your home into the home ground of great football. To purchase a new decoder, SMS GoTV to short code 1731. GoTV. Love it. Drama from day one.
You're welcome back to the Midday News. I'm Arba Kumsin, and Nathaniel Atto joins me in studio now with sports. And I'm hearing about a former Kotoko coach who's in love with hats.
Since his childhood, and I'm talking about Masood Didi Dramani.
Whoa.
Well, the Phobians begin their CAF Champions League campaign against CI Kamsa next month and are hoping to repeat the exploits of the year 2000 when they won the Ultimate Trophy for the first time in their history. The Phobians, in addition to bagging a treble this season, are taking part in Africa's flagship club football competition. Following their impressive performance domestically, many are expecting the Phobians to make massive impact in Africa. Meanwhile, coach Masood Didi Dramani, who led their arch-rivals Kumasi Asante Kotoko to the league title once the Phobians to have watered down expectations because it's a tough terrain.
House is my childhood club. Yeah. I love us. It's all about preparation again, and preparation in football is the objectives you set. If you begin to set objective of going to win, then already you have level sets, strategically, and then be able to make an impact. When you are able to make an impact, I think that it makes more sense than they were very unbeatable in 2000, and so you cannot match that one to what is today. But I believe that they can with the energy level they will be able to try to create an impact, but they have to be very modest in their expectation.
Masood Didi Dramani, who is now the head of football at the Right to Dream Academy, which also owns FC Nordsjælland, the top flight side in the Danish league.
Interesting. Thank you, Nathaniel. Let's do some politics now. And the opposition NDC is confident its proposed electoral reforms, if implemented, will deal with conflicts that lead to avoidable deaths during polls. Election 2020 saw 8 lives lost mainly through violence that took place during collation of votes. The party has called for punishment of those responsible for the deaths, aside from 2 of its MPs seeking a probe. The party earlier this week outdoored more than 20 proposals targeting improving registration of voters, results collation, among others. General Secretary Johnson Asedu Nketia has been explaining how these proposals can help the nation.
An election in which 8 people were killed. And the collation process and all this, I'm not sure anybody is proud about this election. But we cannot reverse the past. So we must make progress. And so we must see how we can get out of this quagmire and restore our democracy to the shining status that it used to be.
According to the NDC General Secretary, the Electoral Commission has responded favorably to its suggestions.
They acknowledge the receipt of our reforms and thank us and assured us that they will be, looking at those proposals. Very short. And then later we heard the media saying the Electoral Commission says NDC should send the reforms to IPAC. And immediately you get to know that those who are running such commentary may not be fully abreast with what happens at the Electoral Commission.
You heard Johnson Asedu Nketia, he's NDC General Secretary, speaking on PM Express on the Joy News channel. Now, it has been one positive feedback after the other since Joy News' latest Hotline documentary, Crushed Young. The documentary, produced by Seth Kwame Boateng, highlighted the devastating impact of road accidents on children and families. It featured 2 young boys, 13-year-old Moses Adai, who has his left leg amputated after a car crushed him. 10-year-old Peter Mensah, on the other hand, lost both limbs after he was knocked down while heading home to collect 3 cedis printing and studies fees. Well, yesterday, Deputy Finance Minister and MP for Ejisu, Dr. John Kuma, paid for 5 different sets of prostheses to be done for Moses and Peter. This will last them between 15 to 20 years. Also stepping in to assist the boys was the executive chairman of JL Holdings, Dr. James Orleans Lindsay. He has offered to build a 3-bedroom apartment for Moses Adai in Trede for free. Multimedia is very grateful for these contributions. Now, have you recently been noticing a reduction in your mobile money account without any transaction? Do you have a high level of data usage? Perhaps your phone has been attacked by a dangerous Android phone virus known as the Joker virus, which has found its way into Ghana. On today's edition of Tech Thursday, Love FM's Kwesi Deborah speaks with global cybersecurity expert Dr. Kester Quist Afechi on how to protect yourself from being attacked.
The Joker virus is capable of subscribing the user to payment services without the authorization and emptying their bank accounts without them noticing. What makes this malware more dangerous is its ability to subscribe the affected Android user to paid services. Dr. Kester Quist Afechi is the head of Computer Science Department at the Ghana Communication Technology University and a global cybersecurity expert.
When you install those applications on your phone, specifically Android phones, it will use that medium to perform certain transactions on your behalf. And normally it performs transactions up to $7, so that it's very difficult for you to detect whether there are certain activities on your account. And it also have effect on your SMS system.
Dr. Quist Afechi has this piece of advice.
So some of the applications that it has affected are cam scanners, photo editors, and paper doc scanner. When you realize that your phone is performing certain transactions on your behalf unexpectedly, you have high level of data usage, your phone is very slow, your apps takes a very long time to open, and then other things. So, and then you realize that your mobile money accounts that you have is reducing without you performing certain transactions on it, or your bank account
So that's Dr. Kesta Quest Afechi. He's a global cyber
It's a comedy play,
expert,
but there's more to that.
He was
This time
speaking
around,
there about how you can protect yourself from being attacked by the Joker virus, especially for you Android users. It's time for entertainment now, and we are counting down to the upcoming play, Something Must Kill a Man. The play seeks to demonstrate how teamwork, good communication, and collaboration contribute significantly to attaining goals. Unlike its previous stage plays, this play will adopt an innovative practical training approach that drives the audience through interactive team-building activities. Listen to playwright Lateef Abubakar.
it's a comedy play, but there's more to that. This time around, it's a creative and unique training experience.
Okay.
That would actually leave an unforgettable memory on the minds of our trainees. To demonstrate how teamwork, good communication, and collaboration contribute significantly to the attainment of what? Our company or organizational goals.
So that's a playwright Lateef Abubakar there. Something Must Kill a Man will be staged at the Labadi Beach Hotel on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of September 2021. Tickets are on sale at Airport Shell, Bachuna Total, and also via the short code 4471092# on all networks. And on that note, we bring the curtain down on the midday news. Our top story today, with less than 24 hours for Burkinabe authorities to spill excess water from the Bagri Dam, we heard from farmers in the northern Ghana who accused NADMO of failing to help them evacuate. Meanwhile, NADMO says it is encountering challenges convincing some farmers to move to higher grounds because they fear they will lose their livelihoods. My name is Arba Kumsin. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. But coming up next is Dr. Mensa Otabil, who has living word on the topic, Lead Me, Lord.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go